A man found what looked like a newborn rabbit shivering under a bush. Pink, hairless, completely blind. His vet took one look and said something that changed everything. Stick around till the end, because what was actually living under this man's kitchen floor is not what you're expecting. And if you like weird, true animal stories like this one, hit subscribe. You're going to want to see what happens next. Weston Cole almost didn't stop. He was out on his usual Sunday run through the green belt behind his subdivision outside Asheville, North Carolina. Earbuds in, barely paying attention to anything but his pace. Then his dog Bodie planted all 4 feet and wouldn't move another step. Bodie wasn't that kind of dog. Part shepherd rescue, calm, well-behaved, he'd walked this exact trail 100 times without so much as a growl at a squirrel. So when he started whining and pawing at a patch of brush off the path, Weston figured he'd better take a look. He crouched down and pushed back the leaves, and there it was. Something small and pink, barely bigger than his palm, trembling in the dirt. Its eyes were sealed shut, and it had almost no fur at all, just a thin scatter of white fuzz over pale, wrinkled skin. It was crying, this tiny rasping sound Weston says he felt more than heard. Okay, he told it. You're a baby rabbit, that's what you are. He didn't pick it up right away. He'd heard somewhere that mother rabbits abandon babies that smell like humans, so he backed off and finished his run at half speed, glancing over his shoulder the whole way. When he came back 40 minutes later, hoping the mother had returned, the baby was still there, alone in the dirt, its cries weaker than before. That settled it for him. He wrapped it in the hem of his shirt and carried it home. Back at his kitchen table, under better light, Weston started noticing things that didn't add up. The ears were too big for the head. The back legs were short and thick, not long and springy the way a rabbit's should be. He tried offering it milk in a bottle cap, and the animal just mashed its front paws into the liquid like it had no idea what to do with it. So he called his vet, Dr. Marisol Vance, and described the animal over the phone as best he could. There was a pause on the other end that told him she was already curious. "Bring it in," she said. "I want to see this myself." At the clinic, Dr. Vance worked fast. A warming pad, fluids for the dehydration, a careful exam. About 5 minutes in, she said the line that changed everything. "It's hungry. That part's obvious. But I'll tell you right now, Weston, this is not a rabbit." She pulled up reference images on her computer and turned the screen toward him. Rabbit kits, even newborns, already have the ear-to-skull ratio and leg muscle structure built for jumping. This animal had neither, and when she felt along its belly, the organ placement was off too, nothing where she expected it to be. She admitted she had no real idea what she was looking at, and that clearly bothered her more than she let on. Her plan was to send it home with Weston, let it grow and gain some weight, and see what features showed up once it did. She'd keep digging on her end in the meantime. The first 2 nights were quiet. The animal ate, slept curled in an old shoebox, and Weston started calling her Muffin, mostly because she was about the size and color of one. Night 3, everything changed. He woke around 1:30 in the morning to a crash from downstairs, loud enough to jolt him upright. He found his trash can knocked over, garbage scattered across the kitchen floor. Raccoons, he figured, and cleaned it up before heading back to bed. The next night was worse. His pantry had been ransacked, a bag of rice torn open and spilled everywhere. This time there was a trail, small paw prints tracked through spilled flour, leading right back to Muffin's shoebox in the living room. "There's no way," he said to his empty kitchen. "She can't even open her eyes yet." But the prints didn't lie. Over the following 3 weeks, Muffin changed fast. She tripled in size. Thick gray-brown fur came in where there'd been bare skin before, and her legs grew heavier, her claws sharper, clearly built for digging rather than hopping. And every night, without fail, There was more chaos waiting for him downstairs. Chewed furniture legs, another raided pantry, once an entire bag of bird seed dumped across his living room rug. He eventually started keeping her in his bedroom overnight, thinking a closed door would put an end to it. It didn't work. The disasters kept happening anyway, with Muffin fast asleep in her shoebox the entire time, right beside his bed. So if it wasn't her, who was it? That question finally got answered when Weston found a loose floorboard in his pantry, and around the same time, Dr. Vance called near midnight, practically breathless. She'd finally identified the species. A bare-nosed wombat, she told him, and an extremely rare one that far from their native range, likely descended from animals that had escaped captivity decades earlier and quietly bred in the wild ever since. They're family animals, Weston, she said. They never wander alone. If you found one, baby, there's almost certainly... She didn't get to finish the sentence, because right then, 4 full-grown wombats came barreling out of Weston's pantry, squat and fast, and completely unbothered by him standing there, with Muffin trotting proudly behind them like she'd been waiting the whole time to make the introduction. That loose floorboard led straight down into a shallow burrow, running the length of his crawl space. The whole family had been letting themselves in and out for weeks while he slept, 2 floors above, completely baffled. Keeping wild wombats isn't legal, and Weston didn't want to split Muffin from her family anyway. Dr. Vance made a few calls, and a wildlife rehabilitation center about 40 minutes away agreed to take the whole group. Watching them released into their new enclosure, Weston figured that would be the end of it. But Muffin wouldn't stop crying at the fence when he turned to leave, and the center's director, a woman named Della Ashworth, bent the rules a little and told him he could come back once a week while Muffin settled in. 6 months later, Muffin is a full-grown wombat now, thick-furred and muscular and completely unrecognizable from the hairless little thing that once tore his kitchen apart. Weston still shows up most Saturdays, volunteering, sitting by her fence for a while before heading home to a house that, for the first time in months, stays quiet all night long. If this story got you, imagine finding this in your own backyard. Let us know in the comments what you would have done. And if you want more true, what animal is this stories, subscribe, because the next one is even wilder.